Hello, storyteller. Storytelling Ron. This is a cool pagan attack rant video. As a Christian, okay. First, I want to do a commercial because I always forget to do this. These are my books. I've written books, lots of books actually. I'm looking and going, wow, I can't believe I wrote all these. Anyway, and I'm writing volume 6 right now. So the Alfred series, epic. You know, I kind of say Larry, Lord of the Rings meets Harry Potter. Very epic, crazy, lots of adult themes though. It's for kids, but it's really an adult book. It's really for adults actually, but kids obviously can read it. It's family friendly. It's got a lot of good issues in it. It's kind of like a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court, where Alfred grew up in the modern world and is thrown into a fantasy world. It is Christian, brings up Christian stuff slowly over the books. He's not a believer in the book, so that's sort of his, growth in it, but it's very epic stuff. He deals with knights, queens, princesses, wizard, a faithless cleric or a faltering cleric, things like that, and then builds up this incredible storyline. So I'm hoping you guys will check that out. I do have the audio for Alfred 1, but that's it, and I did it, and I'm planning on doing more. I also have Night of the Dead. This is a autobiography. It's a 4-part series right now, and it's about a dad in Hollywood, LA, who zombie apocalypse happens, and he happens to have medieval armor. This is my old helmet. Oh, right here. It's a gun right here. But anyway, you don't see it on the screen, but I got that helmet, and the armor is gone. I sold the armor though, but yeah, this is the series, and of course his next piece of armor in the next book I get to will be the new armor, because they found it in the museum during the apocalypse. Okay, something like that. All right, there's that series. So my sister helped edit it. My sister's like this church lady, right? When I got to volume 3 or episode 3, book 3 of the Night of the Dead, she got upset and made me rewrite the first part of it because it was not violent and gory enough like the first 2. I was like, I for some reason I kind of lightened up on it and she's all, no. It needs to be very gory, very adult, mature. It's Christian, hardcore Christian, but very gory and adult, zombie stuff. And yeah, lots of scary, horrifying stuff, kind of, I think. And then Conquest of the Evermire is kind of like my D&D. It's very D&D-ish, very fantasy. There's a secret background to it that you're gonna have to figure out yourself if you're into my books. But it's very D&D-ish. I haven't really finished it. I don't know if I'll finish it, so it's not a good sales pitch. But I can. They're very short and fun, and they're complete. Each story is kind of complete, so it's not like that's an issue. I may go back and finish it though, because I know I rail against D&D and RPGs. I certainly do, but I certainly still have the fondness for traditional fantasy where we have removed Christianity. I have a fondness for it, but again, I'm going to bring in Christianity into it, like real Christianity, Amazon, evangelism and things like that. So that's my book series. It's on Amazon. I've got pretty good reviews, but I've got people who don't like my faith, and we'll post that they are annoyed by it, and that's it. That's all I'm an individual. The only place I market is when I go to a local homeschool convention here in California, where I sell the books, and that's it. And then on Amazon. Okay, there's my commercial. Let's move on to the stories or subject matter here. So, in the year of our Lord 2024, check out this list of college courses in witchcraft and magical spells. So the universities all have pagan, witchcraft, magic, occult sales for now, or pitches. Wow, I kind of look weird here. I'm just going to I just look a little strange. Sorry. Right in the middle of a video. That's how cool, pro I am. So the universities, and check this out. Yale, I believe Yale started off as a Christian. I believe. I'm not sure. I know Georgetown was a Jesuit. I know someone who's alumni there. A Jesuit university, was made by the Jesuits. Most of the universities, especially the older ones, Harvard, they're all Christian. course, they're not Christian anymore. They're pagan. They've been taken over by pagans, and that is my clarion call. We as Christians are just, why are we removing our faith from the game? That's so easy of a surrender. And yet, we removed we've removed our faith from universities that we created, or the Christians have created, Catholics have created, and now they're being taken over by pagans. And here they are; they're bringing in their pagan courses. I'll just go to one here. So this one is someone doing radical magic, uses a movie reference, uses a Taylor Swift reference, uses a musical reference. She's just pushing witchcraft. Taylor Swift, tarot cards is everywhere. Oh, what did I just do? Tarot's, I was going to read this. Let me read. The past decade has witnessed the renaissance of the witch. Okay. They are saying they're in a renaissance. What that means is they are coming into power. And we Christians, we just need to rebuke it. The witch trials apparently were not wrong, is what we need to say. And I'm going to get to that point. I'm going to make another point about the witch trials and about the Inquisition in just a minute for you Christians out there who are ashamed of that, or who are, stop it. Be arrogant. I don't believe we should be arrogant, but we need to rebuke. We need to respond. And I'm trying to do that in the RPG culture, and being attacked. That's fine. That's par for the course. So she's pushing this. She's pushing kids. We will examine the literary qualities. Wow, literary qualities. Why not the literary festerings of, or the literary penalties of, or I'm trying to think of a negative word. Why qualities? Tarot spells and incantations, and question the distinction between writing and magic. Is there really a difference between poem and incantation? Can the lyrics of a rock song be a hex? A hex! There was a religious studies commentator on O'Reilly back in the day, on Fox News. He brought her on every now and then to talk about religion and faith, right? And she was always, no, yes, of course, and I always never liked her. It turns out though, she finally came out, she got sort of a little bit of an appeal and a fame, especially in the liberal side, and she released a book. It turns out that she confessed in the book that she started hexing people. This was a person on Bill O'Reilly as a commentator for the news and politics of the day. Turns out in her book, she said she hexed people. I was like, I didn't even know what that word really meant, and I didn't even know that was a modern word, a lexicon that people knew in the New York City elite circles, but they did. And I had no idea what the heck that meant, back when and so she kind of faded out quickly after that. I don't know the full story on it, but I'm just saying hexing to them is a normal word. To me, it's a very odd word. I now use it, and I use it in role-playing games, but it's just not something I understand. What is a hex? A hex is cursing you, destroying you, wanting you destroyed. So here's another one, History of the Night, where it talks about historical analysis, literary texts, medical and scientific writings, and primary sources provide the class with a cross-disciplinary approach to examine how the night became the abode of the ghost, the devil, the witch, and the dead, and how the night became criminalized, commercialized, and even politicized. So she just wants us to, whatever. You can see this one, zombies, witches, gods, spirits in the Caribbean literature. I was like, ooh, I want to learn more about zombies, witches, gods in the Caribbean literature. I was like, oh, I want to, for a setting in the, like a pirate setting, a Christian role-playing game. And I looked up some of these authors, but they're all they're not historical or disseminating historical references. They're just modern day stories using I don't know what they're using. This course delves into the rich tapestry of Caribbean literature, modern literature, through the lens of the seemingly supernatural, such as zombies, witches, gods, and spirits. All right, not interested. So, Indiana University has a history of magic, or it is all fun and games until someone gets accused of witchcraft. Until someone gets accused of witchcraft. How about until someone actually uses witchcraft? Witchcraft is about a love potion, and what have I told you? What is a love potion? It's a rape drug, right? What is a love potion? That is the most common witchcraft of all. It's the rape drug, because what you're doing is you're giving them the potion, the one you want to target. And what happens to them when they take a love potion? they become weaker, hornier, more subservient, or they get drugged out so that you can have your way with them. That's witchcraft. That is witchcraft. The left complains about the Me Too movement, but the most common throughout history power of the witches, the thing they sold the most was love potions. What do love potions do? They drug the other person so that you can have sex with them, so that you can rape them. And then when you do that, it is too late for them. They now have to be stuck to you. Which is what the bearer of the potion wants. Stuck to you because now they are impregnated by you, or you get to use them and then throw them away. That is a love potion. That is the most common spell of witches that they made money off of. I think second would be abortion. Getting rid of a child, getting rid of the evidence. So a history of magic, or it is all fun and games. Really? That's fun and games? See, that's what pagans do. They tell you it's fun and games until someone gets accused of witchcraft. Okay, I'm getting to this point, and my final point is going to be about this accused thing. Or it's going to be in the second to final, but I'm getting to it pretty quick here. Tulane University is offering ancient magic modern warcraft, where students will learn the skills necessary to succeed at a rigorous university, such as close reading, academic writing, and class participation, while exploring topics such as demonology, illness, prayer, exorcism, witchcraft, and the prayer is obviously cursing others. Either cursing others or having the life cheat, getting an advantage over others. That's what pagan prayer is. I am praying that my God will give me money, will give me the crops, will give me the woman, will give me what I want. That's what I'm praying for, that I will get what I want. Now, some Christians have that prosperity gospel, but the vast majority of our prayer is God's will, or the healing of others, or the healing of our family members. That is our major prayer for a Christian. We do pray for a good job, blah, 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 blessings in our life. But we certainly do not pray that happens at the detriment of others. Definitely not. If that's a part of it, we know that's horrible. But for the pagan, they want to have something over others. They want the power over others. Hence, the love potion being the most prevalent thing of witches. Columbia University has quite an offering as well, including one called Magic and Modernity. To what extent magic is incompatible with modernity, or actually integral to its constitution? Okay, so we need to rebuke that. Where are the rebukers? We need the church and men who are way better than me, for sure, more qualified than me to rebuke this stuff. Okay, I already did this, so let's go to this hilariousness. Okay, political. Okay, thank you, not to be. Political did the meme. Yes, this is a real headline, and the comments were glorious. So Political said, Republicans pounce after Netanyahu protesters burn U.S. flag and wave Hamas ones instead. So they're burning the flags. They actually took down the flags. They don't own these flags, so they're actually taking public property and destroying it, which I think is a felony. But I don't believe anyone was arrested for this. Now, if they took down a rainbow flag, they probably would get arrested. But this is a grotesque statue burning the flag. This is and it's, in my view, paganism. Islam is paganism, same thing. Obviously, Muslims would say otherwise, but the left, pagans, are calling Republicans pounce. So, screenshot just in case they delete it. Republicans pounce is a meme now. It's a meme because everything we Republicans or Christians do is like, hey, I think that's wrong. I think that what you're doing is wrong. Oh, they're pouncing. Oh, they're evil. That has been done throughout history. Every good deed a Christian has done, and I'm relating Republicans to Christians because we know that that's the party of Christianity for the most part. Everything that Christians have done is a Christian pounce. Oh, how dare Christians pounce. Everything we've done to help civilization that has given us the freedom that we have here in the West in Christendom by the white people is pounced upon because that's what evil does, right? Evil is not going to complain about Islamic conquest. Evil is not going to complain about Marxist conquest. Evil is not going to complain about the slavery of Africa, and the persecution of Christians there by the Muslim Africans, they're not going to complain about that. No, never. Only Republicans pounce, white colonialism, Republicans pounce, white colonialism, Republicans pounce. That's all they're going to complain about. They're going to complain so that you will constantly vote in tyranny, or the people that believe in this. Republicans seized immediately on images of burning U.S. flags and vandalism at Washington, D.C. Union Station following the protest by the Democrats, by the left. Republicans seized immediately on images. Well, what are the images of burning U.S.? Really? I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? I mean, we shouldn't be surprised. Read Romans 1, 18-32. We should not, why we can't be surprised with this. But look at that. Republicans pounce, Republicans seized, Republicans. It's pretty amazing. Pouncing's back on the menu, boys. Newsflash, Republicans pounce. Ha ha ha. Republicans pounce. This is the left, the Muslims, the Palestinians burning the U.S. flag. Pouncing and seizing. It's a pounce-a-palooza. You don't hate the journalists enough. You think you do, but you don't. So the lying of the left is the left can lie. The left can bear false witness. Thou shalt not bear false witness is one of 10 commandments God is saying. So out of the 72 million things we could do wrong, God chose 10, and one of them is don't bear false witness. What does bear doesn't mean, he doesn't say you can't lie. It's not about lying. Bearing false witness is completely different from lying. Okay? Bearing false witness is lying to destroy somebody. Sometimes you lie to protect someone. Sometimes you lie to help somebody. Sometimes you lie to not hurt someone's feelings. That's fine. That is not a sin, and I'm so annoyed by Christians that think that's a sin. The sin is lying to destroy someone. Democrats do that all the time. Their entire speeches and policies are not really about policies. Their entire speeches and policies are about lying about the GOP, the Republicans. Constantly. The party switch. The voting, the 1/3 vote of slaves, which is what the Democrats wanted, or whatever. Representation. Everything they do is a lie. And you know what? That's legit. They can slander. Bear false witness and slander. They absolutely can. Because they don't believe in God. So if they don't believe in God, they can absolutely do that. That is the problem with the Republicans and the Christians. Why don't we just admit that? Instead of questioning why they're lying, why don't we just say, yeah, well, they're allowed to slander. They can, because that's their religion. They're pagans. They can slander. Why don't we just say that from now on? Instead of trying to figure out their lies and their slander, and that fetuses are not babies to them, instead of trying to figure out why they're thinking that way, we already know why they're thinking that way. It's evil. So just say, yeah, well, they can bear false witness. So they can obviously tell you whatever you want to hear. They can tell you a lie to get your vote. They can tell you a lie to get the election officials to count the votes the way they want. So because they're afraid, they believe in the lie, and believing in a lie will then get them to do whatever in a lie themselves, and then say how many people voted this way and how many people voted that way. They can get election officials to do that because the election officials believe in the lie. When you believe in the lie, it's not because you know what the truth is, it's because you want to believe in the lie. I mean, you know what the truth is, but you want to believe in the lie. You love the lie. We as Republicans and Christians need to admit that that's what paganism is, and that's what Democrats are. They can bear false witness. That's the answer. They don't make any sense, but they can bear false witness. So what is the problem here? Why are you confused, Christians? And I'm not trying to judge you. I'm saying this is the guy that wrote that bear false witnessing. He can bear false witness. I freaking knew the author would look like this before I even looked. This guy can bear false witness. He can lie. Why not? He doesn't believe in Jesus. No. Let's get to this final thing. So the witch hunts and the Inquisition. How the Christians pounce. How dare they pounce? Just because we're doing these horrific sexualizing pagan love potion things and and abortions and sacrificing children. How dare the Christians pounce? Because we love slavery and enslaving people. How dare Christians pounce? So this is fun-ish for me. Because of my Dark Ages role-playing game. I found this thing about penitentials or penances. Look it up. And it's hard to find the actual penances. I had one, and the link is gone. Literally, I got it, looked at it. It blew my mind. I didn't save it because I thought, oh, it's going to be there. It's an archival thing. I kept the link, though. And then I went back to look at the link, and it was gone. That is weird. And it had a really good list of witchcraft penances and stuff. Very detailed. Like one was murder, a type of murder. Others were about the witchcraft taking a man's seed and doing all this sort of luring men and children. I wish I had that list. I definitely gotta find it again somehow. But there's these old penances, 6th, 7th century. You know, the Irish did it and all that. But I found this one, and this one is, I think, a liberal site. They're, you know, whatever. They're very critical of Christianity, and they've certainly picked out what they wanted. But let's just go through it anyway, because this is one I keep coming across on my search. It's kind of annoying. But anyway, this one's about sexuality. They picked the sexual ones, and so look at it. There's a lot of trans and gay things here. Whoever fornicates with an effeminate male or with another man with an animal must fast for 10 years. Okay, what I want to get at, fast for 10 years. So the punishments before the 14th century, before the witch trials, was fasting. That was the punishment, fasting. Whoever fornicates with an animal must fast 15 years, and sodomites must fast for 7 years. So the punishment is fasting. And fasting was, you had water and meat, or water and bread, and probably couldn't do much, you know. But you were free to go about your life, but you had to be very austere, right? If the effeminate male fornicates with another effeminate male, he's to do penance for 10 years. So, you know, it goes on and on about this stuff. And also, this guy makes fun of that there was also very strict rules about normal marital sex. You know, you think it's just the gays and the witches and all that, and the lesbians. If a woman fornicates with another woman, she must do penance for 3 years. Okay. And then there's this thing about, you know, even they're trying to say that, you know, don't be Christian, because they even have rules where you are strict on sex in the Christianity. So don't be Christian. But let me say this. Nowhere in the Bible is this. You know, there is in the Bible about this thing, and this is all under adultery. You have to be married, man and woman married can have sex. Otherwise, this is all adultery. But this part where it's all detailed, like you can't have sex on these days in the church and the Advent and Lent, and you can't have sex, that's nowhere in the Bible, just so you know. None of these like strict rules about marital sex is in the Bible at all. There's nothing in the Bible about this. So so the Catholic priests that made these, or, you know, the early church, were wrong about this, because there's nothing in the Bible about this. In the New Testament, there's not, and there's even pleasurable stuff in the Old Testament about marital sex, under the Solomon one, Song of Solomon. But here, like even masturbation, there's no rule against it. I don't masturbate. I got a wife. I don't know. I'm married now. I don't. But there isn't like a rule in the Bible that says you can't masturbate. I don't think. I mean, I think there's a wasted seed thing. I don't remember. I know the Quran there is, but I don't know if there is in this one. But unless it's done purposely out of defiance of God, I think there was one. I think there's a story where God wants him to have children, and then he wastes his seed on purpose, you know, defying that. I'm not really sure, but anyway, I just don't recall him. I don't care about masturbation, but whatever. But all this other stuff. Okay, so my point being, it's just penance. There's no burning at the stake. There's no hanging. There's no torture, right? There's no torture. Well, I guess unless you think fasting is torture. But they're trying to tell. It's like a solemn grace of, you know, oh, you need to fast now, and please stop doing this. It's a whole confessional thing. Remember, these people were coming to confess them their sins, and so the monks were like, well, what do we do? Well, we got to figure out how to get them to, you know, have a penance and you know, and they only punish people who like really come to confession, right? This is a confessional thing. These are penances to penitent individuals of the church. So they weren't going out and killing people because of their sodomy their witchcraft. And there were witchcraft ones. They were giving them fasting. So they were doing this for 300-400 years. It did not let up. It got worse. The witchcraft got worse. So when witchcraft came, or the trials came out, witchcraft trials came about, and this is the same with the Inquisition. When the witchcraft trials came about, Christians pounce. Oh no, Christians are pouncing. Witchcraft trials, how dare they? It was after 300 to 400 years of asking them to fast. Asking them to do penance. 300 to 400 years before. Well, okay, the bad witch trials started around 1300. This was 600, so 600 to 700 years before it got that extreme. And why did it get that extreme? Because evil doesn't relent. Think about it. Rape, drugs, child sacrifice, sexualizing children. And remember that the pagans shared the girls. They shared their daughters amongst the men. In one island, a Pacific Islander, explorer, he said they all shared the women, but each man had one wife, but they still shared all the young girls. So do you want a culture where your daughters are shared amongst the men? They come to your home, say, give us your daughter, just for the weekend. Is that the culture you want? Because that's what the witches are selling. That's the culture they want. Is that what you want? Because that's what they want. And if you're ashamed of the witch trials, then you're saying you want witches to rule. Remember, they're having a renaissance. The witches are having a renaissance right now. They're claiming it themselves. What is it that they're going to do with their renaissance if you let them? What do you think they're going to do? They're going to come to your house and say, we want your daughter. Just for the weekend. That's what Columbus, when he came to America with his sailors, that's what they discovered amongst the tribes. They're complaining that the men raped the women here or whatever. No, they were given the women, the daughters. Same with all the other explorers. They come across these pagan cultures and daughters were passed out freely. Oh, and many of the daughters were into it, right? Because there's no God. God says it's a sin. So what kind of society do you want? Do you want one where daughters are passed around? Or do you want one where that is absolutely a sin? No government can change that. That is absolutely sin ordained by God. Adultery and honoring the father and the mother. If you don't follow those, then you are sinning, and it is bad for society, and we must rebuke it. And we must have trials if they push for adultery to be the norm and disgracing the father and the mother. That's what we see in culture today in America, in the United States of America. And that's what we see in the RPG culture. It's coming more and more in Dungeons and Dragons. They've already sexualized it. They got those gay dwarves in there with the hair tattoos. They're already sexualizing and perversing Dungeons and Dragons right now. That's why I'm fighting it and saying we have a Christian game. You can play just like Dungeons and Dragons, but you get evangelism. You get to rebuke in it, evangelism. Now, why do you want to do that in a fantasy game? Because you create your psyche based on what you do, on the games you play, the books you read. You create your psyche. I understand we need escapism, but role-playing games is proactive. It's a proactive thought process. It's a proactive storytelling. So put your faith into it, your Christianity. Don't erase it from that because it's proactive. You don't need to evangelize watching the Game of Thrones or whatever. I watch that. I watch those. I'm watching Black Sails right now. Hardcore porn, violence. The pastor had sex with a woman in it. He guiltily. I watch it. Why do I watch it? Why am I watching all this stuff that's quite sinful and not Christian? Well, one, I watch it because just for the same reason that I read this. The same reason I read this. I want to know what the pagans are doing, and I want to have a response. And you know what my constant mind is when I watch those things? How can I turn this into a Christian story or setting or game? That is my constant thought when I watch these things. I am so into this now, the evangelism part of it all, that even when I watch Black Sails or the dragon thing, I'm constantly thinking why they act like this, and it makes sense that they act the way they do because there's no faith, there's no Christianity. And imagine if missionaries were in this story. It would destroy the story and make it more amazing, epic. I mean, destroy the stupid story that we're all watching and make it more epic. And I'm trying to, and that's what I'm doing. And I understand escapism. And I understand that you want to play a D&D game where you just want to grind or whatever and have fun and do that. I get it. I am using hyperbole, and I'm attacking you on purpose just to get you to start thinking about it. Because that's how dumb I am. That's my style. But anyway, all right. Game of life. Roll. Holy dice. Holy dice. My helmet's gone because it's getting repaired. The eye bar got broke. It's at the armor. Hope he fixes it all. And soon. Sent me $120 to FedEx it to him. Anyway, all right. In the game of life, everybody. Roll holy dice.